Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Roll call.
McKnight,
Here.
Myers, Roa,
Here.
Vogel,
Here.
Kinder.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment on agenda items.
None.
Right. Do we have an oath of office? Cannon? I was gonna say, Cannon.
This is Cannon.
You solemnly swear to uphold your duties as a K-9 for the Meadville Police Department. That's a yes.
That's a yes.
We congratulate
He's happy to be
you.
here.
Yes, I can tell.
Los Sita. Los Sita. Good job, buddy. Good job.
Hey.
Good job. I'm aboard.
That's his reward.
When does he go out to, is he in the car now, or when does he
Yes.
actually?
Last Friday, day shift was actually our first shift out.
Yeah.
So we were able to get the cruiser all set up, and that was the first shift with him. So
Will he have one of the new body cams? Or?
yeah,
Right.
That would be fun.
technology
You could do like a
is
live stream. from the
technology
dog.
is there to put on his collar. So
I was just kidding. That sounds ridiculous.
oh, buddy. Any questions about him though? I'd be more than happy to answer.
How old is he?
15 months. He just turned 15 months on the 12th.
Can you remind us how he came to us, our department?
So with the expansion with Vernon Township, myself and our other canine officer, Officer Provost, we talked to Chief Stefanucci with the bigger area, everything like that, about getting the opportunity to have an additional canine for the department. The FOP, other officers, myself, Officer Provost, we reached out to the community between Meadville and Vernon, businesses, individual checks. We were able to raise enough money to outfit the cruiser and also to purchase this guy right here for honestly a tool that's underused. Honestly, that's just my personal opinion. So he's trained narcotics and patrol, so tracking, article searches, building searches, stuff like that, apprehension, aggression. Yeah, he does well. He's doing real good. He's been training a lot so far, and yeah, I think we've had one call so far in reference to an article search with him, and yeah, he's doing well. And he's from Poland. So we have one from Poland and the other one's from Hungary.
Do they get along?
We have not really introduced them. So these dogs are more so alpha dominant. So that might happen down the road, but right now it's not. So we're able to work probably side by side doing obedience. There won't be an issue, but just introducing, yeah, we're probably not doing that right off the bat.
Does he like being petted?
Oh yes, very much so. He loves his lovin's, and he's very friendly.
He looks very friendly.
Yeah.
Until he's on the job, right?
Until he's told to maybe do something different, but.
I feel like that's our whole police force, right? Very friendly until they're right.
So, but yeah, he is very friendly.
Can we shake his hand?
That and no, yeah.
Okay, great. That'll be fun.
Different kind of training.
Shannon's here.
Yes,
I'm trying to
different
think
kind of
what,
Do you guys want to come meet him?
Sure.
He's like I said, he's very friendly. He has his ball. He's happy. He'll just chill here.
Is he okay with all kinds of like many people swarming him?
Oh, he's met a ton of people already.
Okay.
He's still just a puppy, so if anything, he might pee on you.
Right. We can forgive that much.
But I did just break him before he did that.
Yeah.
This is the purpose.
You can get right here. There you go.
You guys want to meet everybody.
Jeez, Cannon.
Oh, yes, and he loves them. Come on.
Well, everyone will hear you. Almost as big as you are.
I have a dog. About your size.
He's a good dog.
Yes. Everyone get rid of him.
Thanks. Thanks for your service. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Does he get a badge? I'm kidding.
Does he? Give him your badge.
Any other questions
I
for
think we
me?
have stickers in
I
the
can
back.
answer?
Like the fake ones.
I'm kidding. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
All right, so look forward to having
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you very much.
Yep, no
Nice
problem at
to-
all. Quien, los cita. Thank you. Hi, buddy.
Right. Yeah, I know, that was great. Notice of executive session?
No.
Meetings, okay. Approval of minutes, May 14th, 2024 study session.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
McKnight,
Aye.
Roa,
Aye.
Vogel,
Nice.
Kinder.
Aye. Communications?
There is a letter included in your packet from the Meadville Independent Business Alliance regarding parking on First Fridays. That is a discussion item later on in the agenda for consideration.
Okay, and then the manager's report.
Thank you.
A couple items, so as far as right to know requests, 27 right to know requests, still 1,700 in legal fees. As far as general city updates are concerned, just for council's awareness, fire chief interviews are tomorrow. The idea is to have a selection for the new fire chief the first week of June. The new Market House flyer is printed.
So beautiful.
It's showcasing the farmer's market, hand painted by Ashley Bowman. I hope I'm saying it right. It's beautiful, and you can see these around town.
And they're for the farmers markets every Saturday, 9 to 1?
9 to 1 Saturdays. They began May 4th. They continue through October 26th. We have scheduled the first CDBG public hearing. That's scheduled for June 11th. I will have another reminder out that's scheduled for 5 p.m. That's prior to the council meeting that day. As a reminder, the first CDBG public hearing is not about projects specifically, it's just about the program itself, so people can become informed on that. It will be here in council chambers. And then the last item I have is exciting. Still a long way to go in the process, but Representative Kelly's office has selected to move forward with 2 appropriation requests put forward by the city and Massa. One is for the replacement of the fire station roof, and the other is for Massa's French Creek Force Main replacement project. So that project specifically has a heavy impact on French Creek and sewer treatment going into French Creek.
Is that connected at all to the renovations that they're doing, like the new?
It's not directly connected, but any improvements down there in that project along the Race Street area would be very helpful to that project.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Old business?
None?
New business, discussion motion, Market House structural review.
So as part of the Market House's conditions assessment, a portion of the assessment was contingent upon the completion by an evaluation of by a structural engineer. That was not included in the initial costing out of the project that was paid for initially by CDBG funding. Included in your packets is a cost estimate for that structural engineer. It's $5,700 to complete that assessment. Again, this kind of assessment helpful in moving forward with grants. We know the roof is going to need replaced. We have a basic cost estimate of the roof replacement cost, but a structural engineer will be able to provide more context and information on that cost as well as the longevity of the current roof. So the ask here is for the city to float the market authority, the funding for the structural engineer. In the past, the city has loaned the market authority about $10,000 to cover various costs. They have paid all of that back. So this would be the same premise. Loan them the money, and over time, they do pay that back.
Mary Ann, is there a reason why they're only talking about the roof and the front awning as opposed to the entire awning?
From my knowledge of it, the front portion of the awning is the worst portion of that awning. It does have, I'm not good at this and structural part of it, but the joists don't connect anymore in that front portion, so that's a specific concern for that.
I guess I'm just wondering if the incremental cost to do all of it would make it worthwhile instead of having
Piece by piece.
5 years from now.
This is the second cost estimate that we've received from the structural engineer based on the information provided by the initial conditions assessment. So aside from knowing that the front part is the worst portion of that, I could go back and ask for a more complete analysis if we wanted to go that route.
I don't think it would be bad. I mean, like Jim was saying, if we're gonna, it might be better to do it all at once than a little now and a little down the road.
And again, I don't know what the need level
Right,
is
right.
for that, if it was, felt it was not needed, and that's why they didn't put it into the cost estimate here.
Do you need final action tonight, or can we find that out and then act?
Oh, probably could.
Find out and act later.
Yeah.
So there was an initial assessment of the condition of the building, and it said you need another person to look at it who was certified
Right.
and give
Correct.
more,
Correct.
okay, detail, okay. Great, all right. So this is like a follow-up and a
Correct.
digging in professionally to the conditions, okay. Trying to understand it.
And our current engineer is not a structural engineer?
I don't believe that's the case, not for this specific.
Sorry.
Have, when they've been doing the repairs, they piecemealed it together before, is that why we're, okay?
Correct.
Okay, so if we had an assessment on the whole thing, then we would at least be able to say, just the front actually really needs done, and the other parts can be done in 10 years or 5 years.
Right, and overall, we know that the roof and the awning are going to need replaced.
Right.
It's the definite cost associated with that, and then the lifespan of what is remaining that is kind of in question.
Is the market house, do we already, right, I know we still have hearings for CDBG, it's still open. Do we think it might show up again in the next
So,
round?
we had a conversation this week with the county, and the new grant manager for DCD, who manages the CDBG projects, has taken the stance that unless the project, this was planning money that paid for the conditions assessment initially, it was not tied to a long-term CDBG project, because we couldn't, because the city's not classified as entirely low to moderate income. It doesn't fall into the necessary census tracts, things like that. So the new grant manager has taken the stance that even a planning project cannot happen unless it's tied to a future CDBG project. So my long answer to your question is not at this time.
Okay, thank you. I think the reason I ask is because I think, and correct me here if I'm mistaken, my understanding is that the lines of credit that we've issued to the Market House in the past have been to keep the door, like have been really for operations. And I don't know how much of a margin there is, right, to like pay, right, we have the building, and I think wherever we can get grant money to ensure that that building is in good condition, and especially to pay for things like a plan, I don't think it's probably in their budgeting to pay for just, the plans of a structural engineer. Not that I'm saying that we shouldn't do it, but I'm just thinking about implications on how they pay back this line of credit when it doesn't impact
So they have been operating at this point with about a $15,000 operational budget.
Yeah, I know they're doing better, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I think
And I think the terms of how it is paid back is variable as far as what they can and can afford at that moment.
Okay. And we're already doing this, but I guess just along those lines, we should probably look out for grants that'll help to implement the things that
Yeah.
I know they're doing. Just thinking out loud. Great. So Jim, you're saying that you want to see if a structural engineer's review of the entire building is warranted and would, or at least the whole
If there's
awning.
at least a chance, at least a chance that it's warranted, it would probably be more cost efficient from all standpoints, the study
Sure.
itself and the implementation of the repairs, to see if everything needs to be done or a time frame. In other words, if they say, well, no, we don't need it for 20 years, fine. But if it's, well, we might need it in 3 to 5 years or 5 to 8 years, is it worth considering?
So perhaps my question is, would council be willing to pass the motion if this is what the question is asked, the engineer comes back and says, no, this is what we need, instead of having to come back to council again? If that is the case, can we move forward with this? If that is not the case, then it would come back before council.
Yeah, authorize this much and maybe
I'm fine
more.
with that.
I'm comfortable moving
Yeah.
forward, although we might have to change the amount.
Right.
I would come back to council if the amount changes. If the amount remains the 5,700, then
Per the,
Yeah.
and, yeah, that's,
So we-
how do we make that?
So there'd be a motion to approve contingent upon the engineer confirming that the assessment is not needed for the remainder of the awnings.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call.
McKnight,
Aye.
Roa,
Aye.
Vogel,
Hi.
Kinder.
Aye. Discussion motion ending parking enforcement at 5 PM on First Fridays.
So the letter we received from NEPA requested to end metered parking and thus parking enforcement at 5 PM on First Fridays. This request will only impact 9 days throughout the year, obviously all Fridays. Currently, parking enforcement ends at 5:30 for that half an hour ending, so folks can come, feel free to park downtown, find spots, and really have First Fridays take off. Peter had done some analysis on total meter revenue loss. It's minimal, probably $8.50 to $17.25 per Friday for all meters impacted. That doesn't include ticketing fines. It's hard to speculate. That varies depending upon what's happening and who's there. So I don't think staff has an issue with suggesting that this is fine.
I would like to put forth a thought that we end parking enforcement at 5 PM every day. I did a little bit of math based on Peter's figures. Since we already would have 9 Fridays, 10 holidays where we aren't getting money anyway, and about 15 days at Christmas, that's a net of 226 days, which would annualized to somewhere between $1,900 and $3,890 in revenue. But if it attracts people downtown to dine in our restaurants, I think we're ahead of the game.
I am not averse to that, although I might, like, maybe we can kind of consider that in the changes we're making overall to parking. And like, I would maybe be more inclined to like respond to the ask that's put in front of us, and then, but I think that it's worth thinking about as we kind of consider rethinking, not totally rethinking parking, but making tweaks to parking.
Would a lot of people know if that change was made? Like, would people in town realize, oh, it's 30 minutes sooner now? Like, would it have a big effect on people?
They might not know it for 9 days, but for 260 days, they certainly would.
If it were changed for just First Friday, it's, to start, I think part of informing people would just be, like the social media posts that go out with First Fridays, just to note the change in the businesses, can let folks know. I think they're mostly just, the fact that people wouldn't be getting tickets during that time would be enough benefit for them, because they, at Meadville meetings, they do mention that, people will come into their shop saying like, oh, I just got a ticket, it's like 5:15, you know. So I think like, kind of like with the Eclipse, when we did free parking, we didn't bag meters or anything, but no one got tickets that day.
Yeah, I would think since it's a request that MEBA is making, that if we grant it, it's incumbent upon them to then promote it with all of the First Friday promotions that they do. I think it, Peter kind of put forward in the study session, the idea of like decoupling the experience in town from getting ticketed, I think is good. I think like I said, I think, does that answer your question, Tata? Like if the MEBA, if the Business Alliance would put it forward, do you have other thoughts on how we might let people know with our
I think
community
that
capacity?
whoever is making the ask, if like they show it and like they let people know, I think that's great.
And we can certainly use the Fridays to get a better estimate of losses, and then check the rest of the weeks, days of the weekend.
Sounds good. I mean, it would be their obligation to market it, but we would put it on our website like we do, right? Like, and.
Tim, did you have?
I was gonna say, the City of Meadville, City Code in sections 521.13, section 521.13 provides that on-street metered parking spaces and operation of the meters shall be in effect each day between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m., except Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays. However, it also does provide that the City Council may temporarily suspend these regulations requiring coin deposit in meters and establishing time limits for meter parking. So the consideration of the temporary restriction on that is in order. The question of whether you want to change it to a 5 o'clock stop as opposed to a 5:30 stop would require an ordinance change.
But if we just did a delay, or like you said earlier, instead of the,
We have the powers to temporarily suspend that as necessary and as requested according to subsection B.
Right.
But if we were going to follow through with Jim's recommendation that the change be to 5 o'clock en masse throughout the city, we'd have to do that via ordinance.
So we can do the First Friday change until such time that we've got an ordinance that proposes new.
I'm just suggesting we
time
can't act on that
limits
this
that
evening.
we've thought of.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to end parking enforcement at 5 p.m. on the first Fridays.
Can I have a second
second,
discussion?
I have a question, I'm sorry. Are there implications for enforcement officers, like their time paid or?
So Peter actually had a great idea of, instead of handing out tickets as a way to partially promote the First Friday 30 minutes of no parking enforcement, to still have the parking enforcement officers go around, but it just has a little thank you for visiting Meadville.
And a reminder.
And it goes on.
It should be
to-
yellow. And it should
Make sure it's a
Looks
different
like a
color.
ticket.
look like a ticket, but like, you know.
So,
that
no.
would, that would blow up, that, never mind.
So no, it won't.
Okay.
We'll do something.
So, but they'll have the same
Same
hours and
hours,
take
right.
on the same pay. Okay, yeah, great. Okay, that's it, thank you.
Thanks, Peter, for
The
the
idea,
suggestion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good.
Does anybody have any other questions? Roll call.
McKnight,
Aye.
Roa,
Aye.
Vogel,
Aye.
Kinder.
Aye. Public comment on non-agenda items?
Yes, we have one. Teresa.
Teresa, do you want the podium to put your stuff on? Because it normally is out, so you can stand behind.
Not really,
Oh.
I do not. Actually, I just have one item. I did, just a couple of hours ago, bring it to the attention of the city solicitor, and I would like to give him some paperwork right now. I ran into an unusual situation this afternoon attempting to serve a subpoena issued by the Crawford County Courts on Chief Stefanucci, who refused to meet with me and refused to accept the subpoena. And I believe that's something that needs to be brought to the council's awareness. I would, obviously, I've asked your solicitor to look over the matter and to address it. I believe it's something that you all need to be aware of, and hopefully it will be something that can be addressed without any further need for the council's input. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
Are you with the county?
I am not. I represent a plaintiff in a civil matter.
All right,
I'm sorry, is the city named in the city matter?
The city is not named in the civil matter.
Okay. So I'm not authorized to accept service on behalf of.
I am not asking you to accept service
Okay, I just
on
want to make
behalf of
sure it's clear.
the
Thank
okay, council member statements. Daniel?
I want to say it was an honor to see Ken get sworn in today. And with the nicer weather, I'm sure we're going to see a lot more people outside. And I really hope for us to carpe diem and give the citizens of Meadville a great summer.
Thank you. Taylor?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm excited to see what the dog has to do, because I know that sometimes we have like drug dogs come into our school and like search once in a while, so I'll be interested to see if we hear about that. And also the Parks and Rec, they were doing stuff with Heidi Cooper, weren't they? Yeah, so I'm excited to see how that has an impact on the kids this summer. That's it.
Jim?
Thank you. A couple of things in today's email. I think we all got a copy of the survey for downtown Meadville. Probably haven't had a chance to digest it yet, but it'll be interesting to see what the public actually thinks about downtown and what suggestions they might have. Another issue I'd like to at least put on the radar, at the south end of town, you would think it was 1960 and we were filming Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, because because there are literally thousands of, I think they're ravens or crows, and there are residents who are worried about being bitten or contracting disease. Yeah, and contracting disease. So I don't know if there's a solution. In the past, we eliminated the pigeon problem with an organization. I don't know if that's an option anymore. But just like to get that forth to the public, so maybe we can investigate a possible solution. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Mary?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and those that are watching, and our two junior reps. I'm very impressed with your input and your suggestions and ideas. I also like to let people know that summer's coming. Be careful of the kids that are out. Be careful. Traffic is getting more and more congested for our area. So take your time, especially around the Diamond. There's been a lot of conflict with catabuses and transportation, people not looking, people in a hurry. So if you're walking or driving, going west on Chestnut, take your time, be careful that catabus isn't coming or that the pedestrians walking see and give them a chance to get across the street. And I'm hearing so many good things that are happening this summer here. I really can't wait. Juneteenth, of course, and just summer in general here in Meadville. I'm really looking forward to being involved with some of the things that are going on and looking for ideas and suggestions to continue. So.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks folks for coming tonight. Yeah, thanks Daniel and Tatum for jumping in. It's great to have you all with us, and I hope that you might be with us longer. I don't know when you're done, but you know.
I think I know this
To be determined. Well, you know, I hope it works out, or you take summer off and come back. I don't know. Anyway, this has been great, and I hope that you think so too. It's been a good experience for you all. Jim, maybe the Audubon Society might be want the organization to help with the crows. I don't know. But they would be my first call probably if that's the thing we wanted to do. We had set some council priorities in the beginning of the year. So been connecting with council members on what each of us might want to focus on, so that maybe in a few weeks, maybe sometime over the summer, we can check in on how we're doing progress-wise to kind of fulfill some of the goals that we had set early on. Just reminding us that we did that, and so we shouldn't forget about them. Beautiful time of Meadville. Rhododendrons are in bloom right now. So beautiful, love it. Farmers markets have started. The market house is alive on Saturdays. It's great fun. Summer here feels good.
Yeah. Thank you, Autumn. I just want to echo everything, and it has been a delight to have our junior council members here, and it's a cool program. I'm glad we got to do that, and I will be sad to see you guys go, but anxious to see what you guys do, right? So stay as long as you can, and that'll be awesome. It is summer, and we're going to have lots of music in the park. That's my favorite part, music down the streets, and events. Just get the word out and let people know how cool this place is, and how many good things are here, right? It's a wonderful place to live, so let's make sure everybody knows that. And with that, I ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
McKnight,
Aye.
Roa,
Aye.
Vogel,
Hi.
Kinder.
Aye.
So